Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. It is Jack Sanborn, senior Wisconsin linebacker, up for the Butt Kiss Award, the Bednarik Award, the Lot Impact Trophy watch list. Are we gassing you up enough, dude?
Yeah, I know. I think we can chill with that one.
So Jack, senior linebacker, Wisconsin's last year defensive captain, huge player. You have accomplished a whole lot. Just looking at your bio, it's just like the stats just jump off the page, right? And I mean, we can go through them and we could just praise you a ton, but we wanted to get you on to talk about the season, talk about how you're feeling, how's camp going. We got you in the middle of camp somehow, and just how you're feeling, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. Right now, going into my fourth year. Yeah, like you said, in the middle of camp, so kind of right in that the fun times of college football. So, uh, yeah, I mean, everything's going well though, and happy to be on right now.
Yeah, and having free time at like 7:45 at night, I feel like is pretty unheard of unless you like the way like I've heard other camps going is like usually like you're pretty busy at night. Like how do you guys usually structure it to have like free time to do like the best podcast in America?
Yeah, I know. I hear that a lot about, other schools and them going so late. I don't know what they really could be doing right now going so late because I mean we have practice, meetings, walkthroughs, and the whole nine. And I mean we just get in there, do it all in the day, and then get out. But yeah, so I mean it's not bad having time off right now to kind of just refuel yourself at night. But I can't speak for everyone else in the country, but I like the way we do things here.
Yeah, I would too. Well, I always had nights off being a kicker and everything. We never had, but like some guys were till like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And I'd be home just playing video games. They get home and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they'd be like, "Shut up." And I'd be like, "Okay." And they'd be tired of it. But that's so like you guys not have like a lot of breaks during days. It pretty much like you wake up, eat, film or whatever, you go to practice, then you're done. Like boom, 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 like no breaks.
Yeah, I mean we'll wake up in the morning, obviously, eat, go have a little walkthrough, go to practice, uh, have a 2.5 hour practice, whatever the heck it is, then eat after that, and then we'll go have meetings for a few hours. I don't know, like 3 hours or something like that, all together. Then we'll have another walkthrough, and then yeah, and then we're done. We're out the door, and kind of all gets over with at around like 6:30. So. Uh, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then boom, restart that the next day.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely could have done that.
Right? I don't know why we ever went so late. That doesn't make
I
sense to
don't
me. Sounds
either.
like Wisconsin's doing it right. Probably why they've had a lot of success. Why do you think that is, Jack? I mean, what's the secret sauce to why Wisconsin seems to be good every single year? I mean, obviously, it's got to be getting recruits that are absolute ballers, but at the same time, the brand of football hasn't really changed. Like, what perspective can you lend us as to why you guys have been good over the last few years?
Yeah, I think when you talk about Wisconsin football, it kind of goes back prior to even when I was even followed football. Was just that there's a foundation that's been built here for so many years, and that's credit to Coach Alvarez or Barry Alvarez. And ever since then, it's hey, like every team, it's the same foundation there. I mean, there's a reason why half our coaching staff is guys that have coached here, played here, or things like that. And everyone just when you come in here, you kind of just buy into that that like Wisconsin foundation, that Wisconsin like mentality that then just translates over the years throughout all the teams. And I think that's why we're just a consistent team because we and it starts with Coach Chris is that we know what type of team we are, and we don't try to change that. And you see teams out there, and they like go from one style to then a whole new style. Then the new coaching staff. Oh, we're gonna bring this style in. Over the years, it's just hey, we are who we are, and we're gonna just perfect that. And I think that's one reason why each year we're considered or we look at ourselves as one of the best teams out there.
And you you get recruited to Wisconsin. What was the big selling point for you when you're going on all your visits?
Yeah, I mean, because I never grew up a Wisconsin fan. I mean, I grew up
Yeah.
rooting against Wisconsin almost, like in the Rose Bowls and that, because I was a fan of Oregon. But when I came here, but Wisconsin was like that big name kind of. So I remember like when I got that offer, I was like, oh, like that's big. Like I gotta check, I gotta look into them. And then the more you go there, I mean, Coach Christ, the whole coaching staff, I could just feel that I could fit in here and that I could spend time with the guys in that locker room, like those guys. And then just when I looked at it though, I kind of just took coaches out, took football out and that. And then I just looked at the university. It's like, okay, I think it has everything for me here. It has obviously good athletics, good academics, and then it has also, growing up, living in Madison, it's a great college town to be around. So
Awesome
I
college
thought
town.
that, yeah. So I think it had everything that I was looking for.
Good. That's awesome.
And I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot here with that, but like you talked a lot about like the Wisconsin brand, and you seem like a pretty humble guy, not like wanting us to go through all this stuff. But I will say he did pick off Justin Herbert in the Rose Bowl and had 8 tackles in that game, and led the team in tackles in 2020. Just to get through that really quick. But what do you think you bring to the table, and how do you add to that like Wisconsin mentality? Like, what do you bring that kind of adds to the atmosphere of Wisconsin football?
Oh, I just think that one other thing that here at Wisconsin is physical, obviously, but then guys that you can count on, guys that you can depend on, and guys that are smart. I mean, we brand ourselves as also being not only physical but also smart, and I think that's something that over my 4 years here, I've tried to really kind of take to another level is just understanding the game of football. Because I mean, especially even at this level, you could be surprised at just how simple the game can be and how some people just don't really think of it as that simple and kind of just miss some easy things that could really help them out. And I think just being smart, physical, and just always being tough and being out there. I mean, we always talk about the most important thing as a player is to actually be able to play the game. So I think I bring those three.
What's kind of been the biggest lesson that you've learned, whether it be from a coach for football IQ or it's just a life lesson so far? Because if you have aspirations to go to the league, which you said you did, that's something that obviously you're gonna have to have some core values that you handle. Sounds like Wisconsin does a good job of that, but what's been kind of the biggest one that stands out?
Oh no, that's tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah, also put you on the spot.
Biggest
My bad.
biggest core value. I would almost just say this as a football. Well, I would say the mental side of the game is super important, and I've really learned that here. Just not only be understanding the X's and O's and like where am I supposed to be on this play, that could whatever. It's kind of the confidence that you go out on the field with. I feel like that's something that, and you can really tell that in a player. I mean, if they lack confidence, well, you're not gonna you're not gonna move as fast. You're not gonna do everything as well as you really could just because you don't have that confidence to go out there and do it. I would say that's one of the most important things. Then kind of going back to what I last said is the kind of phrase is a best ability is availability, and just being able to play, taking care of your body. I mean, that's such a huge part of the game, especially I mean even now in fall camp, just being able to be out there is such a part that some guys miss, and that can just cost you so much. So I would say one of those two, something like that.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot. I like hearing, I guess, what comes first to mind. Um, I wanted to go back to Drew mentioned the one pick against Justin Herbert, the 8 tackles in the Rose Bowl. Number one, the Rose Bowl game is one of the probably, in my opinion, the most iconic game in college sports.
Without a doubt.
And one, how was that experience? Two, a follow-up question. You only have 1 interception in your career stats, and I'm wondering if it's because you can't catch, or is that true? Or is that just that year? Did I get that wrong?
No, I think I have 4. I have 4
You
career.
have 4? Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is the kind of things. If you're gonna make it big time, you got to be ready for the questions that you have to correct
Yeah.
people with who didn't
I
do
got
all their
4.
research.
I didn't double check either. I said,
Yeah,
oh, it's
I
a
didn't
1.
double check. That's on me, Jack. Way to stick up for yourself. All right, back to the Rose Bowl. How sick was that?
Yeah, first off, I can catch. I think I have some great hands actually. And
Well,
no, I mean,
I don't know.
like you said,
Linebacker versus tight end. I mean, come on, right? I'm kidding.
yeah. No, but like you said, I think the Rose Bowl is the most iconic bowl game in college football, and kind of, I mean, there's a reason why no matter what, everyone's going to watch that Rose Bowl. I mean, it's part of January 1st, New Year. Oh, the Rose Bowl's on. I mean, that's one of the games that people watch, and there's a reason to that, just because that game just has so much history. And I mean, I remember vividly sitting in the locker room before the game, and just looking around the locker room, because it's really neat how they have all like the famous events that have gone on like at that stadium in the Rose Bowl. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at like all these famous concerts that have gone on here, like historic college football games that have gone on here, national championships, like everything. And it's just all like in the locker room. And I remember I was just sitting there, I was like, holy crap, I mean, this is going on here, and this. And I was like, whoa. And I mean, then you're in Pasadena, California. And I remember for that game, I mean, you can even find pictures of it, but like when the sun was going down and the sunset, the sky was like purple and like pink and like orange. And it was crazy, because then I remember being on the field, and Oregon's helmets, that's when they had those chrome helmets or whatever.
Yeah.
So you could look into those, and all of a sudden you'd see the reflection of the sky, and I'd be like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
wicked here. I mean, this is crazy right now. But yeah, I mean, the Rose Bowl, it was my favorite bowl game I ever watched. And so to play in that, especially to play against Oregon, who was the team I kind of grew up cheering for, it was definitely a special moment. Just wish we could have came out with the win that game.
That game was, I mean, such a heartbreaker for Wisconsin fans, but like,
Yeah,
and
I could
you
talk
guys too,
forever about
obviously.
that game.
But yeah, I mean, you talk about, the meaning, like growing up as an Oregon fan, how cool was it to play against your favorite team? That was kind of a storyline that I think they talked about in the broadcast too. Like your father played at Oregon, and that's obviously something that probably has a lot of meaning to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was the team that I originally started watching and cheering for, and then cheered for all until I really started getting recruited and came here. So definitely cool to play them, and hopefully I get another shot at them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Go ahead, Drew.
Well, I think I know where you're going, and before but I had a quick, also double back question to bring up earlier. You threw out some sayings like how like your best availability or your best ability is your availability, and like when you're talking about the mental stuff, I thought of one of our coaches. He said like mental is to physical is 4 is to 1, and like all of like those like, weird sayings that the coaches have. Like, what are some of the sayings that your coaches have that like always make you guys kind of laugh? Like we always had. The little things you don't think matter not only matter, they make all the difference. We heard that like literally every day, and we were like, we get it.
Gotta pack your buddy's parachute.
Yeah, yeah. We're not just gonna eat like roll the ball out and like eat like sub sandwiches on the sideline all game, like stuff like that. So like, what are some of the things that go on the Wisconsin sideline that the coaches say without getting in trouble? You kind of just like go like, we know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, without getting me in trouble. I mean, some of the things I don't know if I can really say, but I can't think of any off the top of my head that are like, oh, like that's what they say like every day or something like that. It always changes. Coach Chris usually has like a saying for the week, I'd say, where like if we're in game week, he'll like say something. If he just gets his like, or if he just hears something and gets his mind on something, then he'll try to incorporate it into everything we do for that week. But other than that, I can't really pinpoint one phrase that a coach really just overuses or uses a lot. They kind of change it around, and they're funny too. Our coaches are funny, so they get some funny sayings out there. I know guys that keep a notepad with all the sayings that some of their coaches say, and some of the stuff's funny. But I can't think of any right off the top of my head.
No, I answered the question. The motto, I imagine he has to work that in like every chance he gets, like whatever that week saying
Every
is.
single time.
Oh yeah. Whatever it is, in every meeting, we're that, and then before the game, it's that saying whatever it is for the week, and it's like, okay, yeah, I got it now. By game time, then
So,
you're like, oh, now I got it. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
yeah. Has your brother been like absolutely amazed at the kind of things that college coaches say versus like high school? So your brother, he's a freshman now, right, at
Yeah.
Wisconsin. This is probably
Yep.
it's his first camp, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So has he been like, dude, where am I? Or like, is he still shell shocked?
I don't know. I don't think he's shell shocked. He got lucky though because so many people on the team, pretty much everyone on the team, already knew who he was though coming in because of me. So
Sure.
it's like when I came in as a freshman, I was like, okay, I don't know anybody. I don't know if anyone likes me. And he comes in and everyone is just waiting for him to just make fun of me or something. And like, oh, can't wait for the better Sanborn to come in and things like that. So he got a better welcoming than me. But no, I don't. I think he understood he was coming into that it wasn't going to be like high school. And yeah, the coaches aren't always as they appear during recruiting,
Right.
but
Right.
they're fun. I love all the coaches there here.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
we had a coach that was like a great recruiter, but like the whole first year I was there, he just called me kicker. Like he knew my first name, he just wouldn't call me it. And then he saw that he was recruiting guys that winter, and he saw me. He's like, "Hey, Drew, how's it going, man?" I almost just said "F you, man," just like straight to his face. I was like, "Not cool." Like
Oh yeah,
totally
some
different
of
guy. And
our
I was like, "Hi, coach. He's so great, isn't he?" And then I just walked away.
yeah, some of them are ruthless, but it's funny
Comes with the
being an
job
old
description, Drew. When you sign up to
yeah.
be a kicker, you got to live with the consequences.
Yeah, but I have
Oh
a
yeah,
name.
It's kicker.
I know.
yeah.
While you're there,
Yeah, apparently I was like, okay, thanks. But then he called every other kicker in the room by their first name.
oh, tough. Yeah,
I know.
must have pissed him off.
He
Yeah,
just had something against you.
I guess.
Guess so. So you guys have a pretty crazy schedule. You play Penn State to open, and I mean that's got to be different mindset. Obviously, play Notre Dame at Soldier Field week 3. Then it's Big Ten season. They sprinkle Army in there. Um, how has this camp felt different from your years in the past, just based on your opening opponent?
So far it hasn't really felt that different.
Yeah,
Last year obviously we didn't have like a normal camp, so I can't really speak on last year. But the years previously, yeah, I mean we didn't start off against a huge Big Ten opponent like Penn State is, but so far it hasn't really felt different. And I imagine once we get closer to that game, it's gonna be a little different. We're gonna start mixing in a lot of Penn State stuff, really start game planning, things like that. But for right now, I mean, I think it's pretty just focusing on ourselves, which is kind of what we always do for camp, and just try to get better for us, and so we can just be better throughout the season. But no, I think when it starts getting time, I think a lot of guys are gonna be sort of itching to get out there and kind of start playing and play Penn State. Just because I mean, there's so much. It's not even just Penn State. It's now we're playing
right.
with fans in the stadium. It's like, oh, geez, like now a normal year, like we've had a normal off season, like oh this is full go right now. I mean, we last year was totally just insane where we were like, I don't know if we're playing this week. What the heck? What do you mean? And so I mean, yeah, I mean that could go on forever about that. But yeah, I mean, so this year I think it's just gonna be crazy. And then when we get out there September 4th, Camp Randall I'm assuming is gonna be wild. And it should be a fun one. I think everyone is excited for it, but everyone is also understanding of what's more important right now. And that's just us as a team getting better.
What's been the most hostile environment you played in? In the Big Ten,
Iowa.
maybe. Iowa?
Iowa. Oh yeah. I
No
mean,
hesitation on that
Didn't
one.
even think about it.
no, I mean it's just different. It's just and I played everywhere. I mean, the shoe was cool. The Ohio State that was cool, but no, Iowa is just different because the fans are right on top of you. So like literally sitting on the bench, you can like they can almost touch you. It's like that close. Like their fans know exactly what we're saying on the sideline or something, going through changes on on the whiteboard and everything, they know. So I mean, yeah, fans will start chirping at you. Some guys will start chirping back if it's a close game. Yeah, I would say Iowa.
Yeah, we had
I was disappointed last year when no fans were there when we went there.
Yeah,
I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we had Riley Lees on. He played at Northwestern and then got picked up as an undrafted free agent with the Bengals. And I think he narrowed down to 3, but like Iowa was the big one for the same reason. Like they're just like right there. They could yell at you. Like they could take stuff off the bench if they wanted to, if
Yeah,
stuff's close enough to them.
yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool.
I would think that Michigan at the Big House would be like the loudest or most hostile, but sounds like Michigan's not getting a lot of credit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I Michigan, don't get me wrong, that play it's a lot of fun to play there. But I remember the one thing about Michigan, because I last year we didn't have fans, obviously. I remember the one thing about Michigan which I thought was really cool is like you go, because that was a night game when we went there 3 years ago or whatever. So we got like the opportunity to go walk around the stadium like during the day, just because we had to get out of the hotel or whatever. And like you walk up like to the top of that place and you're like, oh my gosh, this place is ginormous, which it is. But then how it's like constructed is like when you're on the field, like then we go out for the game, you're on the field and you're like, oh, it doesn't seem that big. Like it's not overwhelming or anything. And it's just like, because it's like constructed like to go more out and everything. It's like, oh, I could play, this isn't crazy. But yeah, I mean, the Big House is awesome to be at. Ohio State's awesome to be at too. There's so many in the Big Ten. I mean, there are a lot of cool stadiums. I mean, Minnesota, when we went there 2 years ago, was really cool as well. I really like that
Ross
place.
State Stadium's pretty cool too, I know.
Drew's a lot of family of Drew's Purdue alum, so Drew wants a little bit of a Purdue shout out at least.
Hey, we're gonna be going there this year. We're gonna be going there this year.
Dude, fear it. You and actually my grandparents listen to this. I'm not gonna say the next part, but
my sister went to Purdue, and it got hostile at some places when I was.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the attendance, it could be like you and like 4,000 people, or it could be you and like 60,000 people. You really just never know how many people are gonna show up.
Right.
I hope it's 60,000.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Oh yeah, you always want to play in front of more people.
And you get to go back home to Soldier Field, play Notre Dame. That's cool.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one too. Yeah, that one should be a fun one too. Playing against a good team there, so I think that one's gonna be cool. I wish last year we were able to play at Lambeau too, kind of because that game ended up getting canceled. But yeah, we were supposed to do so much stuff last year that then just all got canceled. We were supposed to play at Lambeau. We were supposed to play at Wrigley Field. I mean, and then all that got booted out. And then instead of Wrigley, we get Ryan Field, which is always fun to play at. And so yeah, but Soldier Field I think will be really cool. I mean, anytime you get like one of those historical stadium kind of games, it should be a fun one.
I wanted to get your thoughts. I saw your quarterback, Graham Mertz, got some NIL stuff. He got that conversation started like right away, getting his own logo. I guess where are you at with the name, image, and likeness? And have you been pursuing it much? Like, what's that kind of look like in a locker room now that's available to athletes?
Yeah, I mean, right now during football, especially during camp, I'm not really looking into it that much. But I mean, yeah, kind of in our locker room, nobody really asks about it really or really talks about it. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, you do your thing. I think it's really cool for all college athletes to be able to do something. But in our locker room, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. I mean, nobody's gonna be like, oh, what the heck, or anything like that. And it's kind of like, hey, as long as you're playing ball, like, who cares? I mean, kind of everyone has I think the right mindset of everyone knows what's most important, but at the same time, just hey, why not make some extra money if you can, things like that.
So going kind of off that as well, like the whole NIL stuff, there are a bunch of rules and regulations with it right now, right? Too, like it can't be like right before practice, at a practice, like that. All like how many rules are there for you guys right now when it comes to name, image, and likeness?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are quite a few rules, and I remember people were coming in and telling us, and a lot of the guys were like, "Whoa!" I mean, geez. And I mean, I think if it's like bad enough, it could like mess with your eligibility or something like that. So I think it's something that you kind of got to understand and know. Like, I know you can't be, obviously, you can't make endorsements or anything with like rivals of like, oh, the school's like already pre existing endorsements and sponsorships and things like that. And like everything you do you can't be like affiliated with like the University of Wisconsin. So like you can't like have like the logo or anything like that. So yeah, there are quite a few rules that go into it, but I think as long as you're smart, I mean, and kind of understand the rules and that, then you should be all right.
There's that Miami quarterback, De'Aaron King, who just signed to be like the Florida Panthers athlete or something like that. Like the NHL team is sponsoring them. I don't know how that works, but that'd be
Yeah, I
pretty
know. I
sweet to
saw
be
that.
sponsored
I
by a
don't know.
professional team.
I don't know what goes into that. I mean, like, what is he gonna do for that? But yeah, I mean, good for him. And good for that. But I wonder what the heck, like, what you just have to show up at games or something like that. Like, that's part of the
You got
not
to
a
go to
bad
every
gig.
single game. Yeah, no, not a
Yeah,
bad gig.
not a bad gig unless the Florida Panthers are trash. Which, I mean, who knows? I don't really follow them that much. But hey, whatever, man.
They were a good team last year, just for context. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they made
Yeah, I know. Now that the Blackhawks just made some moves this offseason,
yes,
I'll start
sir.
listening
Yes,
to
sir.
hockey. I'll start watching a little more hockey, especially after the Cubs just blew the doors off of everything we had.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Because I think there's a mixed bag with Cubs fans. They're like, oh, we traded for prospects or whatever. Like, no, you lost your best three players. Like the I understand the cap, but at the same time, why wouldn't you do everything in your power to at least keep, Javi at the very least?
go
Yeah,
Mets.
I know. I'm a big Cubs fan, so and it's kind of probably the professional sports team I follow the most. Like even from Chicago, it's like, oh, I like the Cubs more than everybody else. And I know
As he says this
I
as he wears a Yankees shirt.
we got this from the Pinstripe Bowl. It's just what I had in my
Okay.
locker, and
Okay.
and
All
I
right. Fair
threw
enough.
it on after whatever. I'm in camp.
Yeah,
I
so he
don't
could
do any
make this
laundry
meeting,
here.
Joey.
Uh,
That's true. That's true.
yeah, and I'm just supporting Anthony Rizzo right now. But but yeah, I think for the moment, like in the moment, is probably looking at it maybe the right move, just because I mean the Cubs probably weren't going to pay those guys at the end of the year, but I feel like it should never have gotten to the point where that is like the right move, just because I mean we should have been able to offer them more money and an extension and all that prior. Looking at it, didn't listen to like Rizzo talk about it. It's like, oh geez, it didn't really even sound like it was like close to ever even actually becoming a thing. So I don't know. I mean, none of us really know, but hopefully we make moves because I think the Cubs have the money to spend. So I'm hoping they can do something. I don't expect any of those three to be back in Chicago, but whatever.
Yeah, so
I'm a
kind
fan.
of
I'm a fan of all three. So right now I'm kind of like cheering for the Giants to kind of go on and win it all almost.
There you go.
yeah, so not to make you part of like an actual podcast and take the attention away from you, but I'm still gonna ask this question. So like
I
you hear
don't
him
know where you're
talking
going with
about
this.
how, what?
I don't know where you're going with this.
No, so like you're talking about how like Anthony Rizzo said like the deal wasn't gonna like it wasn't close to being done from like a money perspective, but how much of that do you like put on the players? Like if they wanted to stay that bad, like as bad as they say they do, couldn't they have just taken a pay cut? It's not like we're talking like they're making $2 million. They're still making tens of millions of dollars. So do you blame the players at all? Because they are coming out blameless in this. Do you think they could have taken a pay cut if they wanted to stay that bad?
I mean, I think sure if you want to stay that bad you can, but on this side, as an athlete, I will always take the athlete side. I mean, I've always heard the saying, yeah, you wanna people can say all they want and how bad they want to until $5 more million are put in front of them. And hey, you for especially for guys like those that did so much for the Chicago Cubs and kind of the city of Chicago. Hey, and any athlete in general, it's hey, get what you're paid for. I mean, get your money's worth. And hey, if you're worth this, then you're worth that. So go out there and get it. I mean, try to get as much money as you can.
Yeah, and I agree. But all I'm saying is,
On that side, I'll probably always take the athlete.
yeah, but I mean, like, and I agree. But Tom Brady, they always say, could have had bigger contracts, but he didn't because he cared about winning Super Bowls. So
Yeah,
maybe
and
those
that
guys just don't care about winning.
that's that's Tom Brady, and I mean they won, and I think they deserve to be paid,
All right. All right. I respect it.
Bring up
especially
Tom. Yeah.
just
Go ahead.
because we haven't paid them that much money in the previous years.
Yeah.
As much as what they were playing like, I mean, they weren't being paid as much as they should be for how good they were. And now when their time has come to finally be paid, go out there and get it.
Yeah, they're finally being compensated the right way. Drew's a Mets fan too, so
I am.
he's you got to be pretty happy with your infield. Just talked about it on last week's episode too. Yeah, that's I mean that's huge too, and it just like professional athletes, like that has to be obviously the coolest job in the world too, but you have to like stick up for your worth like all the time, no matter what. And like I'm sure most of those guys would probably go where the money is, what's best, in their best interest for their family and what have you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you get? I guess like, and we kind of touched on it, but what's the thing you're looking forward to most this season / what's the goal for Wisconsin football?
I mean, I think, our expectations, I'd say expectations more than goals, but, they're high. And I think that is kind of every team for Wisconsin, as we view ourselves as one of the better teams in the country. And with that comes expectations. And we put our expectations very high to, win the Big Ten West, win the Big Ten, which we haven't been able to do in almost a decade now. So, and that's something we know, that's something we take on our shoulders and kind of what we strive for. And then after that, that then leads to the college football playoff and things like that. So, our expectations are high, very high. And I'm excited for, I don't know what I'm most excited about. I think there's so many things, going into your final year, you're like, oh geez, like, I'm like, it starts to like hit like, oh, this is like my last time doing all this. So I would say just like being with the guys and kind of going through that grind of a college football season kind of one more time is just what I'm excited for. Because I remember 2019 when we went to the Rose Bowl that year, just how, yeah, it's long, it's 14 weeks, whatever it is, and it's a long year, but every week is just like fun. It's like, oh, we get to play football, and then, oh, we get to go and play in front of all these people and that. And it was just so much fun. And last year was just so like, oh, like stop, start. Oh, we're not even playing this week. Okay, whatever. It's like, oh, no fans here. So I'd say just having a normal year, having a full season and that, and kind of just enjoying that ride.
I don't think a lot of people know, so maybe we can put their perspective inside, your helmet. And this is my last question. I just wanted to ask if you give a perspective as like what it's like to be a Mike linebacker. What's it like on a typical play? You're the kind of the center of the defense. You have to lead everyone in that direction. What's that kind of environment like? What's that responsibility feel like? Sort of a broad question. Take it however you would like to, but just like putting on Jack Sanborn's helmet, what's that like to be the leading tackler of the Wisconsin football team from last year going into this season? How are you leading? What's a typical play like? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say I would start this kind of very broad with just being a linebacker at Wisconsin. Is kind of, we kind of view ourselves right now as like LBU, just because, I mean, year in and year out, it's just
I like it.
guys going to the NFL. I mean, I think like everyone, when I got here as a freshman, that team that I was on, I think right now, like 5 or 6 of those linebackers are not playing in the NFL that were just on that team. And it's like, there's kind of a tradition that's just been built here at Wisconsin where, that we expect to have great linebackers, and, you want to live up to that tradition that is building. And, and it's kind of like a family atmosphere. Is like, I know a bunch of the guys that were linebackers previously, and, I'm close with one of them. One of them even came to our practice today, and, we were just talking and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it starts with that, and then just being out there. Yeah, you're kind of, especially in our defense, you're the one that's got to make all the calls and everything, get everyone lined up front. Like, they can't do it on their own, I guess. No, but you gotta, yeah, no, but yeah, you gotta be kind of like that center guy, like you said, and then get everyone lined up, and really you gotta know everything. You gotta know everything about the defense, kind of, which is, I think, the fun part of football is just being able to understand, oh, like, how does everything work together? Because you're the one group that's gotta kind of be able to communicate to not only the D line, outside linebackers, the back end, safeties and corners and that. So, it's fun, and, you gotta learn a lot, but, when you're out there, there's nowhere else you'd rather be. I mean, then you just get to fly around and make some plays and, have some fun out there with all the guys.
No doubt. Drew even said when he was prepping for the interview, he's like, this dude literally looks like a linebacker for Wisconsin. Like, he was destined to play college football there. So congrats on that too. You got Drew's nod.
Yeah, that's what people say. I mean, even what's it called? we had the Big Ten crew here today, and one of the guys was like, "Yeah, you just look like a linebacker," And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I do. I don't really view myself like, oh, I look like one, but
yes,
hey, I'll take that as a compliment."
Yeah, that's good. Hey, it couldn't be an insult.
No, I mean they're right. They're right. So that's good.
Good. Drew, do you have any more questions?
I think that does it for me. I got all mine in.
I also got mine all in. So, Jack, thanks so much, dude. This was a blast. Looking forward to watching you this season. Ball out. Once again, you're up for these awards, and you're poised for a huge season. And not putting pressure on you, but we're excited to watch you ball out. It's going to be fun.
Yep. And make sure to come back on after all this success.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
Yep.